How these 10 poker stars went from top of the world to rock bottom. Poker can make you feel like a king, or leave you questioning every life decision you've ever made. It's thrilling, it's addictive, it's unforgiving. You can go from flying private jets to borrowing $5 to tip a valet. And that's exactly what happened to some of the biggest names in the poker world. Today, we're looking into the high-stakes, high-drama world of professional poker. These are 10 poker stars who had it all: money, fame, respect, and then watched it all vanish like a bad bluff on the river. We're talking millions won and lost, careers built and crushed, addictions, scandals, comebacks, and even tragedy. So stick around, because these stories will leave you gasping, nodding, and maybe even wiping a tear. All right, let's get into it. Stu Anger. Stu Anger wasn't just good, he was scary good. He played so well in a lot of competition and carried that talent straight into pro poker. He didn't just win, he dominated. Stu Anger is widely regarded as one of the greatest poker players of all time and lived a life as brilliant as it was tragic. Born in 1953 in New York City, Unger was a card prodigy from a young age, quickly mastering gin rummy and earning a reputation as an unbeatable player. After dominating the gin scene, he turned to poker, where his aggressive style and genius-level memory reshaped the game. Unger made history by winning the World Series of Poker main event 3 times in 1980, 1981, and 1997, which is a record he shares only with Johnny Moss. His first 2 wins as a young and cocky newcomer stunned the poker world. Despite personal demons like a crippling drug addiction, Unger's talent at the table remained unmatched. He could read opponents with uncanny precision and calculate odds in seconds, so his opponents saw him as a feared competitor. Unger's brilliance was shadowed by his chaotic lifestyle, but behind the genius? Chaos. Stu Anger battled a devastating cocaine addiction and compulsive gambling habits. He'd win millions and lose it just as fast. It's estimated that he made over $30 million in his life and died with nothing. No assets, no savings, just a legacy and a tragic end. In 1998, a year after his miraculous comeback, he died in a Vegas motel room from heart failure. He was just 45. Stu's story is a reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out if the fire gets too wild. Scotty Nguyen. Scotty Nguyen was a showman at the table. With his signature smile, shades, and beer in hand, he charmed fans and crushed opponents. Born in Nha Trang, Vietnam in 1962, Nguyen fled to the United States during the Vietnam War, eventually settling in Orange County, California. He worked humble jobs including busboy and poker dealer while learning the game that would make him famous. Nguyen's natural talent for poker quickly became evident, and by the late 1980s, he was playing professionally. His breakthrough came in 1998 when he won the World Series of Poker WSOP main event. In a now legendary hand, Nguyen, with just a pair of 9s, predicted his opponent's call and his own victory. This sealed his place in poker history with charisma and confidence. Over the course of his career, Scotty Nguyen has earned 5 WSOP bracelets and over $12 million in live tournament winnings. He became the only player to win both the WSOP main event and the $50,000 Horse World Championship, a feat that showcased his skill across multiple poker disciplines. But behind that confident grin, trouble. Despite his successes, Nguyen's journey hasn't been without personal challenges. He's been candid about his battles with alcohol and the emotional toll of fame and fortune. Nguyen once admitted that he blew millions on gambling, women, and drugs. At one point, things got so bad, he had to borrow money to tip valet workers. Imagine that, from poker royalty to scraping change for a $5 tip. He's since made attempts to recover and has spoken openly about the pressure and mental toll the game can take. And while he may still appear at the tables now and then, the golden days, they're long gone. But his resilience, charm, and unmistakable personality have helped him remain a beloved figure in the poker world. Nguyen's impact on poker goes beyond his winnings. With his flashy style, memorable one-liners, and heartfelt backstory, he brought a unique flair to televised poker, helping to popularize the game in the early 2000s. Today, Scotty Nguyen is not only remembered for his tournament victories, but also for the joy, drama, and spirit he brought to the poker table. All in all, it's a legacy that still shines. Archie Carus. If there was ever a gambling myth made real, it's Archie Carus. Archie Carus, born Anargyros Karaborniotis in 1950 on the Greek island of Cephalonia, is a legendary figure in gambling folklore. Best known for The Run, a nearly mythical hot streak in the early 1990s that turned $50 into over $40 million. In 1992, he arrived in Vegas with just $50 to his name. Carus worked as a waiter before discovering his natural gift for high-stakes gambling, particularly in pool, poker, and dice. By 1995, he turned that into a mind-blowing $40 million, the most legendary run in gambling history. Borrowing $10,000, Carus quickly turned it into $30,000 playing Raz, then snowballed his winnings through a combination of poker and pool hustling. Over the next few months, he defeated some of the biggest names in poker like Doyle Brunson, Stu Anger, Chip Reese, and Johnny Moss while playing heads up for enormous stakes. His fearlessness and unmatched streak saw him reach a reported peak of over $40 million. Carus' style was aggressive, confident, and fearless. These were traits that made him both respected and feared. He preferred playing for the highest stakes possible, saying he felt no thrill without extreme risk. But just as quickly as he rose, his fortune vanished. In a series of devastating losses, Archie gave it all back. Millions were lost at the dice table, and more in high-stakes poker duels. Just like that, the man who once held the largest run in gambling history was broke again. No tears, no excuses, just the brutal poetic symmetry of the game. "I lost it the way I won it," he once said, almost smiling, one roll at a time. In the years that followed, Archie's life took darker turns. There were occasional arrests, bans from casinos, and long stretches away from the spotlight. But he never lost his love for the game or the fire in his eyes when the cards hit the felt. Archie Carus is the ultimate gambler's tale. He didn't chase riches, he chased risk. He lived at the edge in that dangerous space where genius and madness shake hands. And though he fell, he did it his way, bold, fearless, and unforgettable. Because in the end, Archie wasn't just playing the cards, he was playing life. And for a while, he held all the chips. Eric Lingren. Once seen as one of the most promising stars in the poker world, Lingren had it all: 2 WSOP bracelets, over $10 million in winnings, and a spot on Team Full Tilt. Born on August 11, 1976, in Bernie, California, Lindgren's competitive spirit was evident early on. He started playing poker while working as a blackjack dealer near his college, which led him to pursue the game professionally. Lindgren's rise in the poker world was just so swift. He secured his first major tournament victory at the Bellagio in 2002, followed by 2 World Poker Tour (WPT) titles, including a notable win at the Party Poker Million 3 in 2004, which earned him $1,025,000. His prowess wasn't limited to the WPT. He also clinched 2 World Series Poker WSOP bracelets, the $5,000 Mixed Hold'em event in 2008, and the $5,000 No Limit Hold'em 6-handed event in 2013. In 2008, his consistent performance earned him the WSOP Player of the Year title. But for all his success, the high-stakes world came with its own dark side. Eric, like many top players, had a taste for the action, and the allure of big money games often led him down dangerous paths. His aggressive betting style, once his strength, began to work against him. Over the years, Eric's losses grew just as large as his wins. He became entangled in the online poker world, playing cash games that saw millions of dollars exchanged in a single session. And in these games, things started to spiral. In 2009, a series of devastating losses hit Eric hard. In one infamous online session, he lost over $3 million, a crushing blow to both his finances and his confidence. To make matters worse, he was later caught up in a legal battle surrounding unpaid gambling debts, leading to a public fall from grace. His poker career, once a meteoric rise, was now a series of cautionary tales about the perils of chasing big wins without caution. But Eric never gave up. He continued to play poker, chasing redemption and the thrill of victory. His story is one of resilience, the kind that doesn't shy away from failure, but instead faces it head on. In interviews, he's been open about his struggles, both in poker and in life, acknowledging the mistakes he made along the way. Yet, even in his darkest moments, Eric remains an advocate for the game he loves, determined to rebuild piece by piece and find his way back to the top. Eric Lindgren's legacy in poker is not just about his triumphs or his losses. It's about the very human journey of reaching for greatness, falling, and picking yourself back up. It's a story of risk, redemption, and the never-ending pursuit of something more. And no matter where he goes from here, Eric's mark on poker will never fade. Brad Booth. Brad Booth, known in the poker world as Yukon Brad, is a Canadian professional poker player that was born on September 20th, 1976 in Vancouver, British Columbia. He earned his nickname from his early poker days in the Yukon, where he honed his skills before making a name for himself on the international stage. Booth became so popular during the poker boom of the mid-2000s, and since then he became a regular on the television series High Stakes Poker. People knew him for his fearless play and once famously bought in for a cool million, which showed his readiness to compete at the highest levels. One of his most notable moments was a massive bluff against Phil Ivey, where he forced Ivey to fold a strong hand. It was a move that has since become part of poker lore. Despite his successes, Booth's career had a lot of challenges. He was a victim of the ultimate bet cheating scandal, where he parted with approximately $2 million due to unfair play by software that allowed opponents to see his hole cards. Between 2007 and 2012, he suffered substantial losses in online poker of around $4.2 million. These financial setbacks caused him some personal struggles, and there were debts to fellow players, and a period in 2020 where he was reported missing for several weeks before being found safe. Booth has now been working to rebuild his life and reputation. He has shown that he will repay his debts and has re-engaged with the poker community, even if it's at lower stakes. Brad Booth's story is one of talent and tenacity. Gavin Griffin. Gavin Griffin's story isn't just about poker. It's about passion, perseverance, and a little bit of pink hair. Born in 1981 in Darien, Illinois, Gavin didn't start off as a poker prodigy. He was just a regular college kid at Texas Christian University studying to be a teacher when he fell in love with the game. He played online during his free time, sharpening his skills in the virtual trenches. But what happened next put him straight into poker's history books. In 2004, at just 22 years old, Gavin became the youngest player to ever win a World Series of Poker WSOP bracelet, back when that title still raised eyebrows and turned heads. Suddenly, this soft-spoken, pink-haired kid from Illinois was making headlines. But he didn't stop there. He set his sights on the world, literally. In 2007, Gavin won the European Poker Tour EPT Grand Final in Monte Carlo, pocketing a staggering 1.8 million euros and proving he wasn't a one-hit wonder. Not long after, he took down a World Poker Tour WPT title too, becoming the first player in history to win all three major poker championships, WSOP, WPT, and EPT. But beyond the felt, Gavin's heart is just as impressive. He dyed his hair pink in support of breast cancer awareness and used his platform to raise money for the cause. He wasn't just stacking chips, he was making a difference. Gavin Griffin's journey is one of quiet greatness. No flashy bravado, no outrageous antics, just raw talent, genuine kindness, and a relentless desire to win with integrity. In a game often clouded by ego and excess, Gavin reminded us what it looks like when a player leads with heart. And that's what makes his story unforgettable. David Ream. David Ream is the kind of poker player whose story feels more like a roller coaster ride than a traditional biography. That's exactly what makes it unforgettable. Born in Los Angeles in 1980, Ream wasn't handed a golden path to poker stardom. He grew up in a rough neighborhood and found his way out of tough upbringing and to the poker table as a kind of escape. The cards didn't just offer him a game, they offered him hope. Ream burst onto the global poker scene in 2008 when he made the final table of the World Series of Poker main event, finishing 7th and cashing for over $1.7 million. Suddenly, he wasn't just some kid from LA. He was David Ream, the name everyone wanted to watch. But the fire didn't stop there. In 2009, he took down the inaugural Epic Poker League event, and in the years that followed, he stacked up major victories, including 3 World Poker Tour WPT titles, so he joined an elite group of multiple WPT champs. His talent? Undeniable. His reads? Razor sharp. And his confidence at the table? Pure electricity. Yet Ream's journey has never been easy. He's battled demons, gambling debts, personal struggles, controversy. He's been counted out more than once, but what makes his story so powerful is that he keeps coming back. Time and time again, Ream rises. Poker players talk about heart, hustle, and raw instinct. Ream lives it. Every bluff, every call, every win, and every loss. It's all part of a deeply human story of redemption, resilience, and relentless grit. He's not just a poker player, he's a fighter. And love him or doubt him, Ream's story reminds us all, no matter how messy the path, greatness can still find its way through the cards. Tom Dwan. Tom Dwan, better known as Durr in the online poker world, isn't just a player. He's a myth, a mystery, and a mind that changed the way poker is played. Born in 1986 in Edison, New Jersey, Dwan didn't grow up with dreams of poker greatness. He was just a college student with a $50 birthday gift and a knack for numbers. But what he did with that $50? That's where the legend begins. Online, under the name Durr, Tom turned that small deposit into millions, battling some of the world's best in the highest stake cash games the internet has ever seen. He became famous for playing fearlessly, 3-barrel bluffs, 5-bet shoves with air, insane reads that left opponents stunned and fans gasping. He wasn't just beating people, he was redefining what aggression in poker looked like. Then came the live tables, high-stakes poker, Full Tilt's $1 million cash game, and the unforgettable showdown against Phil Ivey, Patrick Antonius, and others. Dwan, with his hoodie and stone-cold stare, was a kid among titans. He held his own like a veteran. Then he disappeared. Rumors started flying. Had Tom gone broke? Had he lost millions in underground games in Macau? Nobody really knew. What we do know is that Tom Dwan lost a ton of money online. There were whispers of 8-figure losses. But unlike some of the others on this list, Tom never fully vanished. Gus Hansen. Gus Hansen wasn't just a poker player. He was a storm in a hoodie, a gambler with charm, chaos, and charisma rolled into one unforgettable figure. Born in Denmark in 1974, Gus was already a world-class backgammon player before he ever touched a poker chip. When he found poker, it was like a spark hit gasoline. He hit the World Poker Tour WPT in the early 2000s like a wild card. He was just so aggressive, unpredictable, and fearless. He made bluffs no one dared, calls that made jaws drop, and plays that defied every rule in the book. And somehow, they worked. By 2004, Gus had won 3 WPT titles, more than anyone at the time, and cashed in big at the World Series of Poker. Fans couldn't get enough of him. He wasn't just winning, he was entertaining. Poker had its rock star. But Gus wasn't afraid to gamble, and that was both his magic and his undoing. As online poker exploded, Gus started playing the highest stakes games on Full Tilt Poker. Millions shifted back and forth, but the losses eventually piled up. By some estimates, Gus dropped over $20 million online. He went from unstoppable to uncertain. Critics questioned his style, fans held their breath, and Gus, he owned it all. No excuses, no hiding. I played too many hours, too many games, and made too many bad decisions, he once admitted. But that honesty, as well as his raw talent and flair, keeps people rooting for him. Because Gus Hansen isn't just a story of winning. He's a story of taking chances, living boldly, and facing the consequences with his head held high. He's the kind of legend who may fall hard, but you always feel like he just might rise again. That's Gus. The Great Dane, unforgettable, unpredictable, human. Victor Blom. Victor Blom, who is better known by his mysterious online moniker, Isildur I, is the kind of poker player you don't forget, even if you tried. His story is a whirlwind of brilliance, boldness, and a breathtaking crash that's become the stuff of poker legend. He was a ghost at first. In late 2009, an unknown player named Isildur One appeared out of nowhere on Full Tilt Poker, playing $500 to $1,000 no-limit hold'em and pot-limit Omaha against the biggest names in the game like Tom Dwan, Phil Ivey, Patrick Antonius, and others. Most people grind their way up. Victor skipped all that and went straight for the jugular. And it worked. At just 19 years old, Victor turned a small bankroll into over $6 million in weeks. His playing style? Unrelenting aggression. He played 15-hour sessions. He 3-bet like it was a reflex. He bluffed with air, called the bottom pair, and made fearless moves no one saw coming. He was chaos. He was magic. But the rise was too fast, too wild. In a single legendary session, Victor lost over $4 million to Brian Hastings and later revealed to have been aided by database sharing. This news sparked a major controversy. It didn't matter. The damage was done. Blom's bankroll evaporated almost as quickly as it had grown. 1 minute he was unbeatable, the next he was broken. Eventually, Isildur One was unmasked as Victor Blom, a shy, soft-spoken kid from Sweden who never seemed fully comfortable in the spotlight. He signed with PokerStars, won the 2012 PCA Super High Roller for $1.25 million, and proved he wasn't a one-trick pony. But the swings never stopped. His style, so beautiful and brutal, was built for flames, not longevity. He vanished and reappeared over the years, always dangerous, always unpredictable. And though he never truly reclaimed his former glory, the legend of Isildur One still looms large. Victor Blom didn't just play poker, he attacked it like a storm. His highs were dizzying, his lows devastating, but through it all, he reminded the poker world what it means to play with heart, with fearlessness, and with nothing left behind. He was the mystery, he was the madness, and for a brief, unforgettable moment, he was poker's wild heartbeat. Poker is more than just cards. It's a test of nerve, skill, and, most of all, discipline. These players were all giants in the game. They won millions, made history, and left their mark. But even the best can fall when they chase the wrong hand, or play one too many. Let their stories be a reminder. In poker, just like in life, it's not just about how much you win. It's about what you can keep. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications for more jaw-dropping poker stories just like this. Until next time, stay sharp, know your limits, and never forget, the cards don't care who you are. See you at the tables.